Anthony, I was in Atlanta yesterday. You were, oh, baby, that is so sweet. What a nice way to start the show. We are live at the AC Hotel Marriott in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, owned by Colwen Hotels. Anthony, so great to see you, dude.
You're turning red.
I think that's just the lighting on the camera, but I am embarrassed and really little excited you kissed me like that.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. Of course, I am Glenn Hausman. We got the one, the only Anthony Melchiorri over there. Anthony, so you were up here. You're doing this speaking engagement. I was in Atlanta doing a speaking engagement. But here we are together, united once again.
And we'll be in New York tomorrow. And are we going to be in Vegas next week together? Or am I by
No,
myself?
you're going alone to Vegas next week. Because, you know, I haven't been to Vegas enough, Anthony, so I'm feeling really sad about that. Only spending 11 or 12 days in Vegas in October.
Yes, my headphones aren't working, Glenn.
They're not. Wait,
no.
They are working. Put them back on. I turned down the volume on.
But I'll
Put
tell
them
you,
back on right now.
It was a lot of fun.
Is that good for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to be here last night and to see everyone. And, you know, it just seemed normal. It seems like we're getting back to normal. It was a lot of fun. I didn't win a cruise, but, you know, it was fun.
That's really sad, dude.
Yeah, everybody got a cruise but me.
Oh, my goodness. I can picture it right now. You get a cruise.
That's what I thought. I looked under my seat. I thought there'd be a cruise. There was no cruise.
Listen, I saw that you got a nice bottle of booze to your room.
I did. Did you notice I brought it down? Because my wife saw it in the picture,
Yep.
and she goes, "Bring that home." So you got to bring it because I'm on the plane with the carry-on.
Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Yes, I will throw it in. I will throw it in my my Subaru over there. All right. So today we got a jam-packed show for you because we're live over here at a hotel. We've got all sorts of different companies, all sorts of different hotels that we're featuring today. So forgive us for this information overload. And we are going to start right now with two incredible people, including Gina LaBarre, RVP Brand Growth with Voco Hotels. Of course, you know them with IHG. And Mr. Adam Sherer, SVP Lodging Development with Marriott Select Brands. But only talk to him if you're East.
You know, we've never had two brands.
To talk to you about anyone.
Are you allowed by law to speak to anyone on the other side of the Mississippi River?
I am, and even full service.
Yeah.
We're going to go a little crazy.
Yeah, we've never had
The
two
whole
brands
sport.
together. I like this.
I
We're
know.
gonna start a war.
This is a battle of the brands. You guys, you know, we spend a lot of time. We put on the boxing gloves. You guys are ready to go at it right now. Yeah.
We're in the hospitality business.
Industry. Nothing but hospitality.
That's true. And I got to tell you, that's one of the things that I love about this business so much is that no matter what company you're with, everybody is friends. It's like one big happy family. And quite frankly, that's probably because everybody's worked for every other company.
That's true. There's true.
And Glenn, do me a favor.
Uh-oh.
Remind me to teach you how to throw a punch. Because if you ever throw a punch like that, you're going to get
You
hurt.
did once. It was like, or something. I don't know. I'm a little afraid of damaging my screen over here right now because after being at the MGM Grand for 11 days and seeing the big boxing ring in there, I'm feeling emboldened.
Well, don't.
All right. You want to get this? You want to get the show on the road, or you want me to start asking?
You start,
questions?
my friend.
All right. So we're going to be talking a little bit about lifestyle hotels right now, the evolution of lifestyle hotels, why they have become such an important part of hospitality culture. Gina, I'm gonna start with you right now. Voco's, you know, an emerging, up and coming brand, maybe because people aren't familiar with us. What is the ethos behind that brand?
So this is IHG's, we call it a soft brand with hard brand elements. So it is the ability to take an individual asset. We're looking for independent hotels and putting a thin layer of the brand across it to pull them all together. We launched the brand back in 2018 and we've already got 61 hotels between open and pipeline. Yeah, particularly it's been very, very quick growth all around the world. So we love that. Owners like it because they get to keep the heritage of their hotel and, you know, they get backed by the engine of IHG.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think because of what's happening for the last 2 years and all the changes and that owners, in some cases, they've been running hotels, maybe they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 hotels. And like, you know, I got this. I know how to operate my hotel. I just need the system. I just need the reservations. I just need the Priority Club members. That's what I need. I don't need a brand to come in and manage my hotel. And I'm starting to see that a little bit more. I'm sure you're starting to see that. And plus, you know, in a person that I've managed a lot of historic properties, I don't want the soul to be missing. So if I'm an owner, it seems like a perfect way to keep my brand and keep all the great benefits of the brand, but to really kind of not lose control at all of my hotel.
100%. And obviously the pandemic helped accelerate that. Independent hotels are doing all they can to stay viable out there in the marketplace. And, having that system of IHG backing you and all our sales resources and revenue management and so on and so forth, it's helped them, stay whole through the pandemic. And it's been great for our growth for the brand.
Yeah, awesome. So, Adam, tell us a little bit about the select brands that Marriott has.
So we have 10 total.
Wow.
And
That's
yes.
a third of the entire portfolio.
Yeah, usually I get quizzed on them. So
You can. My favorite thing is always to ask people to name all their brands, but I don't want to do that to embarrass anybody. It's a lot of brands to
Can you
remember.
do it?
I think I could do it.
Here we
Oh,
go.
here he
So on
goes.
the classic side, Courtyard Fairfield, Spring Hill, Residence Inn, Town Place Suites, 4 Points, and then the distinctive lifestyle brands,
Yep.
which is what we're going to talk about: AC, Element, Moxie, Aloft.
Wow.
Do I
Hold
get
on one
an
second.
award?
Hold on.
That wasn't 30,
Wait,
I'm
wrong
sorry.
button. You did it. I'm giving you a little applause thing.
Thank you.
there.
I appreciate that.
He only gets to do sound effects once a month. So
I know.
just,
I'm
I
glad
am,
we did fulfill
you
that quota.
were the worthy one, right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Reminds me
But
of
you
that
know what,
old
that's-
Seinfeld episode.
but
with the different
that's
topic,
interesting because one of the questions I was doing a panel yesterday, and one of the questions is, are there too many brands? And like we're just joking around saying, can you name all your brands? And you're in charge of 9 or 10, you said
10.
10. Where are we? I mean, Marriott has 34 brands total,
30.
30,
30 brands.
30 plus.
IHG has how many brands?
17.
17. Are we going to continue to see the growth of brands, or are we going to start to see like the soft brands, the vocos, the signature or autographs? Are we going to start to see more of those, or are we going to keep slicing? And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, I agree. I think for us, we see them as development platforms, right? And the ability to get the Marriott brand and sort of, as you were saying before, the ethos behind that brand out to different consumers. People, one person is going to travel differently in all different types of ways. So if someone's a consultant, they're going to go to an extended stay brand, and then they're going to aggregate their loyalty points, and then maybe they'll go to the St. Regis for a vacation, right? So you already, within one person, you're not loyal just to one brand, and you go into an urban location, suburban location. What's the type of experience you want to have?
So you want people loyal to Marriott International as a brand, and then express themselves different ways through in your portfolio.
If you see our advertising and marketing, it's Marriott Bonvoy.
Right,
That's the
all
tip
of
the
it.
spear,
The last year, that's basically all I've seen.
right?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't require you then to go through the Quizlet
Right.
of, we'll name all 30 brands, right? You probably have a sub portfolio of the Bonvoy that you're very familiar with and very loyal to and you love, and it brings you great inspiration. You don't need to worry about those other brands, but if you happen to go to a location and there's more limited, you're going, sometimes they say you're building the Marriott, not necessarily the Fairfield, the
That's right.
TPS, right? It's because you're the only one in that.
Yeah, and it's
Somewhat,
interesting
yeah.
because if you don't like one of the brands, you're not probably going to go to your competitor. You're probably just going to go to another Marriott brand. It's like, this brand's not for me. I expect a little bit more. I expect a little bit less, whatever. But you're going to stay in the Bonvoy, the Marriott world.
Well, you go.
Yeah, so those loyalty programs are, huge when it comes to selecting hotels. And to Adam's point, different occasions, different needs,
Right.
different, locations. So it's great to have that portfolio brand so I can still earn my points when I'm staying for work and have places to burn my points that fit my needs or my experience that I'm looking for.
Right. Plus, I think the proliferation of brands follows a lot of what's going on in society and culture. As our needs change and as our consumer desires morph a little bit, we need better brands that reflect those types of people. 15 years ago, we were all focused on creating brands for millennials. Now I'm seeing over the last 5 years, the incredible rise of that extended stay category, which incidentally, according to Lodging Econometrics, which is located right up here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's actually in Dover, but same thing. And they said 30% of the new construction pipeline is made up of that particular hotel type. So things are changing really, really rapidly right now. So I think no matter what, we're going to have to see more brands as style and taste change. Anthony, would that make sense to you?
Yes and no. The answer is that makes sense, but also I don't travel 30 different ways. I don't travel 20 different ways. I travel corporate. So I think that there's room, but I think, and we did a tour recently I don't remember which brand it was. Maybe it was an IHG brand, where we saw all the different hotels that they're working on. And I think as long as we're paying attention to not duplicating, and I think there has been some duplication, and I think brands have identified that, and I think they're really working hard to ensure that each brand that's developed does have something significant that's different, not just the color on the wall.
Right. And I got to tell you, I think, Gina, you guys have done a very nice job with that at IHG. In particular, I love some of these newest brands that are emerging. I haven't had a chance to stay at a voco yet, but I'm hoping.
Well,
I'm
we
hoping.
have 2 open right
Yeah.
now, but we've got a pretty good.
Where
pipeline.
are those
So,
2 right now?
right
You said
now,
61,
we're about-
so 59 under construction in some phase of development, right?
Well, it's globally. So
Okay.
we have in the US, we've got one on the Upper East Side of New York.
Oh.
It's called the Franklin. It's a 100-year-old hotel. It's beautiful.
The Franklin?
The Franklin Hotel.
That's on.
Ask me the cross streets.
No, hold on. The Franklin Hotel. It used to be. Yeah.
It was an
Okay.
independent.
I'm gonna look it
It's
up.
a 100-year-old hotel.
Yeah.
and
It's
beautiful,
about what?
super tiny.
125 rooms or
No, it's
something?
49.
40. Right.
And they
Okay.
could be successful. It's at 164 East
They are-
87th
Yeah.
Street. I used to live at 90th and 3rd back in the 1990s.
They are killing it. They're doing such an amazing job. We have great owners there.
Who are the owners there? Do you know?
Andrew and Chip Weiss with Flintlock Construction. So
He knows
you're
them.
laughing because you know them.
We built the Staybridge Suites in Times Square with them.
Okay, we
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about that
yeah.
earlier, but they are also going to build a brand new voco hotel in Times Square.
Wow.
They just executed that contract. So
And
that's-
they literally will build it because they're
and they will.
builders.
And let me tell you what, they did that Franklin in record timing through the pandemic, and it's a beautiful hotel. They've done an excellent
They've
job.
built almost every hotel in New York City in the last 15 years, it
Yeah,
seems.
they definitely know.
I
the
thought that was
market.
Sam Chang's job.
Well, guess who he builds
So
for?
funny, everybody has
Wait,
Sam Chang.
wait, but guess who he built for? Guess who Sam Chang, that's how they became
Right.
so big. Sam Chang hired
Builds
them
and then gives it to them.
and they hired them to build every hotel.
Right.
Anyway, second hotel is in St. Augustine, so it sits between the historic area and the beach. It's a beautiful hotel.
Oh, Anthony, we got to do a live show.
Wait, which hotel was it?
They had me at St. Augustine.
It was a brand new build under a different flag.
Okay.
And, but it converted after 18 months, I think, of being.
Wow.
open. Yeah, it was, anyway, and then we're going to open 3 through the remainder of the year. In fact, Times Square South, which is on 36th Street, right across the street from the Crown Plaza on 36th Street.
You're
will open.
HY 36.
Right, it's literally across the street.
That's pretty cool. That is a great
Beautiful.
hotel that really reinvents what Crown Plaza wants to be.
Yeah, they did an amazing job with that. Good owners there, but the.
Which also, I should say, they also own the even
In hotel on,
where our producer Dave is running the place right now.
oh, no kidding. So it's one on 35th Street. It backs up to the Crown Plaza.
Yeah.
The one on 44th.
Right.
Anyway, so we're opening Times Square South in the next couple of weeks. We are opening Columbia, Missouri, which is right 2 blocks from the campus of the University of Missouri,
Great place.
and New Orleans in the French Quarter.
Great. Ken Hayworth, I just wanted to let you know, we're going to have the general manager for this particular property on later, and we'll address what you said then. I want to get back to you, Adam.
Sorry to take up so
real
much
quick.
time.
No.
Fine. Let's-
You, like
I'll
I said,
talk about my brand all day
it is
long.
my job
That's
to ask
right.
you questions, and it's also my job to manage the flow
All
of
right,
the
got
show. You don't worry about that, Adam. Let's get back
Okay.
to you. I love what she said earlier about she used the word accelerate. Anthony and I are big believers that things haven't changed because of COVID. It's just accelerated trends in the marketplace. How has that helped you leverage what you're doing over at Marriott with your portfolio of brands?
Give me.
I said that especially vague, so you could go in any direction
Oh,
with
okay.
it.
Well, I think, let's say a few things. Number one, from a development perspective, as you said, we're back on track in terms of just business. We're open for business. We're seeing numbers that we were seeing in 2019. We're seeing now. So that's good.
When you say that, is that how is that different for urban cores compared to everywhere else? It's still a haves and have-nots.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah. Urban core is still quite the challenge.
Mhm.
As you look from a design, if we're talking about design and ops perspective, I think a lot of those trends continue significantly. And the example is around sort of like F&B. F&B is now so core to so much of what we do in the hotel business. And I know the next group will speak about that in a really significant way. You're seeing those trends across the distinctive portfolio. As you look to do those bigger deals, those become a really significant part of the pro forma and the underwriting to get those deals done. So I think you're going to continue to see the trend where F&B, particularly in lifestyle hotels, is just sort of the center of attention. When we launched AC here, one of the things we talked about is that the bartender was going to be the most important associate at the hotel.
Right.
Because they were going to attract that
When did you
local
guys
flavor.
first say that? When did you first come up with that notion? Because it's
So it's like 2012, 2013.
all right. So that was really, really early on. I caught on to that, I guess, much longer after you guys. But I think you're right, because we're going to see people controlling their experiences more on their own. And I think the most important front-facing person is going to be that bartender who's going to be the conduit to creating great
Very
experiences.
rarely do I talk to Glenn and I don't hear, well, I went to so-and-so city last night to do a so-and-so thing. And I went to the bar and talked to the bartender. I hear that every day.
Well, that's the engagement. That's where you're staying for a few
That's right.
hours. That's where you meet people. You either, you're going to either use this space to do some of your work and have a beer, have a glass of wine, or you're going to sit there, you're going to meet friends and use it as a launching pad to go into the city.
And we talked about this on the panel yesterday. What I feel is very important. People like that, the bartenders, there's a lot less touch points, right? People bypassing the front desk. There's not everyday housekeeping. There's so many opportunities to not see an employee that those people out front, like the bartender, like the person cleaning the elevator. I do not see the training going into those areas across the board in hospitality. And I think in the next 6 months to a year, everyone's going to get the message that the most training needs to go into those people, because those are the people that everyone's seeing. I just saw a housekeeper walking down the hall. I was walking down the hallway and I saw a housekeeper, and as I'm walking, I just looked in. She literally popped her head up and said, "Good morning." And I kept on walking. That one little pop-up good morning, where she could have ignored me and I would have just thought she didn't see me, made me feel great. It will make me
Part of
remember
our
this
two-way
hotel.
program at Marriott.
Yeah.
That associates
It's what?
me to. It's part of our quality assurance program that within a certain amount of feet that you need to say hi.
Good.
to a
And
guest.
that's the lesson that Anthony taught viewers in the first ever episode of Hotel Impossible.
That's
which
right.
is
The
placed in my
10-4,
brain.
the 10-4 and more
Yeah.
rule.
All right. So we'll talk more about those particular on-property issues when we get the on-property people on next. But I love that you guys are saying that development is back, right? One of the issues that we keep talking about, and I feel like I'm talking about for 10 years now, right, Anthony? Money on the sidelines. Does money ever come off the sidelines? It seems like it is. But Adam, what is that? What is the overall investment community thinking about right now when investing in either new builds or buying properties right now to convert to your brand?
Transaction market's been very busy.
Mm-hmm.
So from an acquisition perspective, you're not seeing necessarily the big headliner
Mm-hmm.
sales, but there's a lot of activity in secondary and tertiary markets. So our contracts
Right.
team is very busy as it relates to that. As it relates to the investment, the underwriting, certain regional banks have come back into
Mhm.
play and offering favorable deal terms. I think for most of us in the industry, this is a 2022 discussion.
Right.
That we really feel that we're signing up a lot of deals, and then we think those will be invested in and underwritten as we go into 2022.
And Gina, what about you? How are you seeing it on your side?
I completely agree. We're kind of across the board. We're not focused in any one area.
Right.
I think money is getting more accessible for the owners that we're dealing with. And so we've been pleased with our growth, but we're really looking to 2022 as well.
Yeah, excellent. I do think that 2022 is going to be a huge year all around for making deals of hotels and people staying in.
And I
hotels.
think those flagships that we talk about, mostly in the urban markets, you're going to start seeing some of those flip. You're going to start seeing headline deals happening.
Speaking
because-
about headline deals, Anthony, Red Edwards is saying Core Point Lodging REIT got bought today for $1.5 billion. I guess Adam knew that already. You're caught
Yes.
up on your headlines. I was too
Yes.
busy setting up this gear.
So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of that in the next. I think they need those markets need about another 18 months. You need to start seeing business really come back and corporate group go back before you see some sales, because people aren't going to sell right now, because if they sell, they're selling at a major loss.
All right, we got a question from Kyle over here. And Kyle, I know you've been posting some questions in the last few days and we haven't been able to get to them. I am so sorry about that. But today, conversion or new builds, are they becoming more popular right now? I thought that conversions was going to be huge. And then everybody managed to keep their properties, it seems. So that did not happen. But going forward, Gina, where do you think the action's going to be?
In the upscale space, we're actually seeing it more on a conversion basis, a little less on the upscale.
Yeah.
So mid-scale is going to be a different play. That's going to be largely in the new build category. We have Avid, which is exclusively a new build brand for us, but in upscale, we're seeing more conversions.
Right. And you, sir?
I'd say hope always springs eternal during these downturns that for the big brand companies that you think you're going to see a slew of conversions, and it hasn't materialized in our space in the upper upscale yet. 100% collection brands, of course. Those you're seeing it. You're just not seeing 4% of our pipeline are conversions.
Right. That's much smaller than I would have expected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something we would always.
That's really fascinating. I wonder if that has to do, Anthony, with the fact that even though the hospitality industry was decimated, the stock market continued to go up. People felt really good about their financial portfolios and all. And I guess that they're realizing now that hospitality is coming back, you can actually invest in building and still be successful when it opens 2 years from now or whatever it is. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier. It's hard to acquire money, but once you get into the system and you're a hotelier, it's a lot easier than it was 20 years ago because of people like you that are experts in bringing owners through this process from a revenue standpoint, sales standpoint, construction standpoint. It's once you get into somebody's brand and you have the money secure, everything is kind of, just push a button here and it just happens. And I think that it is difficult to jump over some hurdles, but it's not as difficult as it was 20 years ago.
And let's be honest, for the brand companies, we want to keep our fee stream. So we're gonna work significantly with our owners to make sure they stay within the system.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, we're gonna need to kick you off.
I have one question.
Ask the question. I was gonna give him a chance for final thoughts anyway.
No, well, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say this.
Of course you would.
You guys been in the industry for a long time. You've seen all the ups and downs. Thank God that you're still in the system, so to speak, for your brands, because they really needed you, because they needed your experience, your leadership, your stay the course, where everybody else was probably jumping overboard and panicking and freaking out. I would imagine you guys, though it was tough for you the last 2 years, you've kind of been here a little bit before, not to this degree. How has it been personally for you, professionally, to kind of go through the last 2 years? And has this been the most challenging moment of your professional career? Ladies first.
And if it hasn't, tell us what was.
Well, the recession was kind of tough too, back in 08 to 2010.
Yeah.
But no one could have predicted it. Of course, I believe in my heart of hearts, and I've been with IHG since 1991. That we did an amazing job managing through it. Our CEO Keith Barr did an excellent job. We stayed focused. We made the decisions we had to make to keep the company abreast. We launched brands in the middle of the pandemic. We took risk, and I think they're paying off for us, which is great. So it has been difficult. Personally, we all dealt with different things, but as an organization, I think it actually made us stronger. I think in hindsight, you look and you say we did make the right decisions. We are progressing. We're being successful as we go forward. So. It was difficult, but for me, I actually think when we went through the recession, that was a different type of difficulty for our owners. So, we were all going through the pandemic at the same time, and this was just such an anomaly. I think no one knew how to tackle it. So you just kind of manage day by day.
Makes sense. Adam?
I agree with Gina on all those points. And obviously then on top of it, we suffered through the loss of Arnie, our great leader. And I think then we have an amazing executive leadership team that were able to sort of keep the ship steady as Keith did in terms of IHG, right? To go, you need someone to keep reminding you, it's the basics. You know how to do this.
Right.
I will say for just on a professional side, and it's the group you're about to speak with, what was done at the property was unbelievably amazing and continues to amaze me what's going on in light of all the challenges as relates to labor and talent and keeping the lights on. And as I don't know who said it last night, in terms of a lot of us got to stay home, be remote, or not be on the road all the time. Those were the groups that actually went to the hotels, and they were the ones taking care of guests. And they're the ones who deserve the plaudits for getting the industry through the worst of times. So
couldn't agree more. Excellent.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a perfect place to end it with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
thank you very much. It's
Thank
good
you,
seeing
guys.
you.
Yeah, good seeing you too.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to be getting in our next guests right now. Yeah, come on in, and let's go. So, what do you think of that so far?
When you get closer, I don't hear the echo in the room.
Oh, what you mean?
That sounds much better. That's what, and when you get like this, I hear the echo. But I don't want to correct you because I don't want you to yell at me.
Yeah, seriously, you will not correct me.
Right.
All
And
right?
if you guys, as you're getting close to the mic, just try to stay a little closer to the mic so we don't get the echo in the room. Okay.
All right, so let's bring on our next guest. We've got Elise Warshaver, DOSM at the Row Hotel, and Christopher Werth, GM, the Row Hotel and Assembly Row. Guys, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
For
So
having us.
I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone here and say, hey, you guys, you're probably managed by Colwen Hotels, right?
I think so. Yes, yes, we are. Yes.
Last we heard.
All right, so we are, of course, up here at their annual GM conference here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, at the absolutely incredible AC Hotel by Marriott in Portsmouth. I got to tell you, Anthony, I never stayed at one of these hotels, but we'll talk more about that.
I've been here 2 days. I'm really comfortable. I don't want to leave.
I really like this. I really like
Matter of
this
fact, I
particular
was saying to
hotel.
somebody the other day, the first night I pulled 2 leather chairs together, and that's where I slept till 5 o'clock in the morning. They were so comfortable, and there's no carpet. It's
Right.
beautiful with floors, beautiful bathrooms, great amenity. They set me up that I've been eating for 2 days, so I don't want to go.
Slept or passed out from alcoholism? I don't know.
No, I slept. I had a beer. You're
I
an
know.
alcoholic.
You're not really.
me.
You're not really a big drinker at all.
I'm not.
All right. So let's talk about your hotels. Tell us a little bit about the Row Hotel and Assembly Row, Chris.
Well, we've been open for about 2.5 years.
Mhm.
Gorgeous property, an autograph collection. So
Mhm.
it is a lifestyle brand, which is what I believe we're here to talk about.
Right.
The tie back to this hotel to the community, which is part of that lifestyle brand,
Yep.
is the fact that the old Assembly Ford motor plant was in that location.
Oh, hence the name.
Hence the name. And the entire community is built around the Assembly,
Right.
the Assembly Row.
Yep.
And all the construction from the Ford motor plant. So as you
Yep.
walk around the community, you'll see a lot of old steel work and girders, and there's actually some of the old Assembly Row Ford motor plants still there, which
How
is
cool
pretty interesting.
How cool is that?
Mhm.
First of all, I don't know about you, Anthony, but adaptive reuse buildings, I think, are my favorite.
I've stayed at that
hotels on the
hotel.
planet.
I've
Have you?
stayed at yeah. I the first time I did an event for them, I stayed at that hotel, and it's I loved it. Very comfortable. I like their hotels. They feel very homey and very comfortable and very warm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Elise, that's got to help you when you're marketing the hotel because it's something distinct
Mhm.
and unique that you can't get anywhere else.
Right. And I always say I'm the director of sales, but mainly I'm a storyteller.
Right.
I'm there to give the story of the neighborhood and of the hotel to the customers.
Yeah,
So-
you were really excited last night at dinner.
Yeah.
You're really proud of that hotel.
First of all, that's the first time I ever heard somebody say neighborhood in front of the hotel,
Yes.
and that is the way it should be.
Exactly. We're pretty much located in Boston, and Boston is expensive. And what comes with that, you're buying not only the hotel, but you're buying the experience of the location.
Right.
And that's what, the Row Hotel at Assembly Row does when travelers come.
Right. Make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, and just in the last year or two, I'd imagine because when there's such a great company and every time I'm around everyone generally feels like family.
Mhm.
I would imagine that philosophy really helped you during the pandemic because a lot of hotels lost a big part of their staff. And what I'm understanding is you guys, of course, like everyone else, it's been challenging, but it seems to be less challenging for you because it seems that people that stay here in this company stay for a while. Like, how long have you been with the company?
I've been with the company for 3 years.
3 years,
Yeah.
I'm 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah, great
You-
question for these two.
No, usually I've been here, but listen, in our industry, 2.5 years sometimes is a long time.
It's a lifetime.
No, but everybody talk to us 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's really amazing. So have you had all the challenges everyone else has had with employees, or has it been a little less for you because of, some of the long longevity?
I think we've been through a lot of those challenges, but not to the same extent. We were very fortunate to keep the core group of people for the hotel. Naturally, with the lower volumes, we weren't able to maintain everybody. But we also have a lot of people who are so dedicated, they're willing to jump in any area and do anything.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
how
made our lives pretty
how
easy.
good did it feel, Christopher? Be honest with me, that to see executives that haven't cleaned a room in a long time, or check somebody and see them at the front desk or clean a room. Come on, when you saw Julie cleaning rooms, didn't it make you feel good?
It felt fantastic. I had to show her how to turn on the vacuum cleaner, but it felt fantastic.
But you know what, Anthony? I feel like that's a good lesson for hoteliers to learn, to get reacquainted with what it's like to do some of the work that they haven't done in a while. Not only does it give you a better appreciation, but it probably helps you understand how to operate and sell the hotel a little bit better too, guys, right?
We had to transition, I think, from being a jack of all trades to sort of being specialists in every area. But the teamwork and the morale in the hotel has just been fantastic. So yeah, I feel very lucky coming through this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, it's, I feel like service, it's all about authenticity. And I think because we kind of jumped in to all facets of the hotel, it's helped us create more of that authentic experience for the customer.
You just said the most important word in the hospitality industry: authenticity. Period. End of story. Especially with all the brands that are coming in, like each one has to really be driven and built, informed, and really born authentically, and not just to be able to have another brand. And I think most brands are starting to really see that. I think there's been some mistakes, but I think in general, people will start realizing. And I also think, and we talked about this last night, is that we've all got hurt the last 2 years. So when we come to hotels, we just want everything to be easy. We don't want stress, and we just want that authentic feeling. Back in the day when you would check somebody into a nice hotel, there was a script. I think people are getting away from the script. Just hire nice people and get out of their way.
Right. Yeah. I think you look at it too from a sales aspect. You have your touch points to hit when you're, doing the funnel of the sale.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to just, asking them what they want and presenting them with those solutions and being genuine.
That's such common sense, Elise, but a lot of folks don't think of it from the customer's point of view. They think about it from the director of sales and marketing. My hotel has X amount of rooms. What does that really matter necessarily if you don't understand the context of what the customer is really looking for ultimately, right?
Right. And exactly. Good point too. I mean, Anthony last night was saying, sometimes I just want a Snickers bar when I check in. So
Right.
here's a Snickers bar that I bought for you today.
I'm so glad to see Anthony finally satisfied.
You know what happens when you don't get your Snickers bar? You turn to somebody else. No, but you know what? Thank you so much. And as soon as I met you, as soon as you started speaking last night and now, you just are authentic. And, you don't seem to be, and a lot of people at your company don't seem to be so caught up with what the executives and what your position in the company is and worried about, am I going to get fired? Am I going to get promoted? Everybody just seems to be like, hey, man, we got a job to do. Let's go do it.
Right.
And I just love being around you guys. It's just a real fun place to be, even though you bought me a Snickers bar, but not, I'm just going to say, there was a trip that I could have been on, but I got a Snickers bar.
Listen, I think a Snickers is much more satisfying than
a cruise.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree. So, Chris, let me ask you, Christopher. What are you thinking about now a little bit differently when operating your hotel and managing your teams that you may not have been thinking about 2 years ago at this time?
There are a lot of new people who are very green, and the focus has been just on getting people to be their authentic, genuine self. We remind each other on a regular basis if you're finding someone being repetitive and getting into that cycle of, welcome to the Row Hotel, what's different about this interaction? How can you change things? And that's been a big part of it. The other part, I think, is how we staff and what everyone does, because we are short-staffed like everyone else. And having everyone cross-trained and willing to jump in and help in behind the barista bar or going and clearing plates. So, in the morning, you might be a receptionist for the checkouts, and then you go and clear the plates after the breakfast, and then you'll go and help in the banqueting area. So we've really had to change the way we think and do multiple tasks at once. So I'm sitting at the front desk occasionally, and I'm being an accountant at the same time and a human resources person. And then you need to still find time to go and connect with your team.
Yeah. And I think, the people that see this as an opportunity just to kind of love our industry again and kind of really, get back to our roots will survive. And the people who see like, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to go to the front desk and those are the people that are going to break. And those are the people who are going to leave, because if you're doing that all day long in your head and didn't accept the pain that comes with what's going on in the last 2 years, that's going to kill you and you're going to leave. And I think you've seen that. But when you accept it and go, hey, this sucks, but it's kind of fun if you just kind of lean into it, right? And so my question is for both of you. And has the questions changed when it comes to a customer when you're selling a contract, a group, a catering, whatever it is? Are the questions changing?
Good question.
And also from the front, checking people in. And Christopher, maybe it's more for you. Are people kind of expecting less, expecting more, or they're they want what they wanted before because they're paying the same prices, if not more? But ladies first.
Yeah, I think from a sales aspect, absolutely, they've changed to some degree, mainly regarding the food service standards. And also, what's great, it gives us an opportunity because they're hosting this meeting and they want to lean on us to be responsible and create those certain like social distancing practices and all of that, so they can show to their owner that they're doing their due diligence too. So if we are able to proactively create safe meeting environments for the customer during the selling phase, I think that helps us close the sale in the long run.
Now, are you still seeing people really focused on, okay, how are you going to stay safe? Or people, maybe a lot of groups are vaccinating, like, hey, we just want to have everything back to normal. We don't need 6 feet apart. We don't want to wear masks. It's not mandated by the local government. We just want to come and just make believe it's 2019 all over again.
Yeah, I think from a social market, it definitely is that way. Maybe from a corporate, they're still, answering those corporate questions when they're having those get-togethers. So probably about 80.
Interesting.
20.
I'll tell you what, I think anecdotally speaking, this is just based on my own personal experience. I think people are asking those questions when planning the meetings, and everyone shows up at these meetings and they walk into the building wearing their mask, and then that's pretty much it. Every event that I've gone to in the last 4 or 5 months, including the ones with indoor mask mandates, everyone's kind of done with it.
Yeah. Do you think Vegas is going to come off with the mask soon?
I think that people in Vegas have decided that the mandate is over for the most part.
Oh, really?
At least based on what I was seeing. It's one of those things that I spent 11 days in Vegas in October. So I was there on 2 separate trips. And so the same thing happened both times. The people start with good intentions. And then the more cocktails that they have, the later at night they get, the more loosey-goosey they get with the masks until they're totally forgotten. And then the more days they're there, the more they're like, forget about it. And they just
But is it being like when you're walking around these casinos, are people asking you to put the mask on?
No, everybody's given up.
Oh, really?
I mean, they have a security guy, at least at MGM Grand, when you're walking at the casino floor, if you're not wearing a mask, they will offer you one and try to get you to wear one. But the fact of the matter is, they're allowing smoking on the casino floor again. They're allowing cocktails on the casino floor. And these are all activities that people do with their masks off. So you can't expect people to wear a mask the entire time if you're allowing them to eat, drink, smoke, and, kiss each other, that sort of thing. So it's just not practical, So what are you going to do? You guys you're in Boston, so you don't have any indoor mandates anymore.
We
do.
do. We do have the
You
mask
do?
mandate. It's probably one of the most stressful things, I think, for employees, because you have an element of guests that
Just
want
want
you to wear a mask, and those that don't want to wear a mask,
Mhm.
and you can ask them 10 times and they'll wear it for 2 feet, take it off.
That's right.
And it becomes very frustrating for the team. And then you have some people that actually get upset and angry with you because you're asking them to wear a mask. So,
That's right.
I think that's
And you
probably-
guys are not the mask police. That's the thing that frustrates me most of all, is that you guys are being tasked with jobs that are not your job and not your responsibility. And it can only be a negative for you. It's difficult with customer service, and there's a lot of people that just can't handle being told what to do and have a lot of negative outbursts, I would say as well. But Elise, back to you. You're in Boston doing sales. Cities have been tough. So what kind of business are you finding right now for groups to come in?
I mean, I think the Row Hotel at Assembly Row is in a great spot because
Yeah.
we're just right outside the city with the accessibility of the train. 5
Right.
minutes, you're in downtown. But the neighborhood, again, has created kind of a safe environment with, the open windows, the wide sidewalks. So I think it's created a safer feel for people that kind of want to still come to Boston with a slight alternative of safety. So
Right.
I mean, we've been doing really well.
Awesome.
We've been busy.
Has the type of meeting that you're bringing in changed? Because I'm finding that hoteliers are telling me small meetings are doing very successful.
Mhm.
They've gotten a little bit bigger in size. It's just those giant, massive groups that you're probably not catering to anyway
Yep.
are most effective.
Yeah, I think we've seen, a lot of the kind of definite business on the books has definitely decreased in attendance for, 50%, 60%. So we are seeing those larger meetings going to that virtual in-person component. So definitely a lot smaller still.
Excellent.
Mhm.
All right. This is interesting. Dr. Professor Suzanne is backstage. She's asking, has the Wynn Encore made you guys change about how you approach sourcing business?
You know what? I feel like we, again, back to authenticity.
Yeah,
We offer the customer more of the authentic
it's
experience.
a totally different thing.
So they can go play there for a couple hours and they come home to us. So,
How far is that from you?
Across the street.
Yeah, less than 10 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know
So-
that.
It's
Yeah.
across the highway, right?
Yep. Or there's there's going to be a bridge eventually connecting us.
Right.
We have a lot of guests that choose to gamble there, but would prefer staying in
Yeah.
a neighborhood environment where you can walk to restaurants and have more options.
Well, I'm upset with that hotel.
And you have to stay with us because, we have a lot of guests that come back from the casino and I don't know what it is, but they win a lot of money.
Do you
So
know
we
why
are
I'm upset with
lucky.
that hotel? Glenn?
I was going to ask that next. Tell me, please.
They shut down the poker room.
What?
I'm not talking to them anymore.
Well, then you have no reason to talk to them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Before we let you go, one last topic. Richard Majewski is asking: is F&B back or coming back in hotels in general? He's overseas in Europe and London, so he's seeing a totally different story, I think, than you guys.
We've brought back a long time ago 7 days a week of breakfast, and we have 7 days a week at the bar. In the old days, we would open the bar at noon, but it was never particularly busy. So we're trying to figure out what the right balance is. Having a dinner option and having the breakfast option is great. We have room service available again, so for breakfast at least, and hopefully in the bar once we're able to add more team players. So I think it's coming back, but I think it's going to be different to what it was. It might be scaled back, and it'll be more suited to the hours that people are actually using it.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I can deal with a lot of services going away, but if I can't get a drink and I can't get something to eat, I have no reason to be at your hotel. So I think it is so important that it comes back however it can come back. Even if it has to be creative, even if there's a lot less options, even if it's just wine and beer, but there's got to be something. And there's some hotels that are holding out. And I understand because, you can't find employees, but it's almost like I just can't stay at the hotel because I'm the type of person that I don't want to leave the hotel. I just want to go upstairs and go to sleep. And I think it's really, I think there's some hotels still management companies struggling with that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah, Glenn, can you get with it today? What the, you're making weird noises. You're banging
what's
the
happening
table. You're banging the table. What's wrong with you today?
Well, I keep forgetting that Suzanne is backstage, and I keep trying to do stuff, and I'm like actively working against her success today. It seems so.
Okay.
Sorry about that, producer Suzanne. All right, now we've got to get moving on, but I want people to stay with you.
Yes.
How do we learn about you? How do we find you? How do we create a group event with you?
Yeah, just, Google us, the Row Hotel at Assembly Row. We're located in Somerville, Massachusetts. We were one of the top hotels in the world by Travel and Leisure. So we're excited to have you. Please come visit us.
Excellent. Any final thoughts, Christopher?
No, we just look forward to having you. And even if you are going to the casino, we're the best place to stay.
All
I
right.
agree.
I think I've got a new plan if I'm allowed to walk in there now that they don't have poker. So I don't know. I still haven't seen that place, and I haven't seen your place either. I think I've got a thing I got to do now.
Yep, you got a list of things to do.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right. So as we get in, Chris Moulton, the GM here of the AC Hotel Portsmouth downtown. This is fun. I really like having multiple guests on the show.
Yeah, I gave you a compliment yesterday saying you were so great yesterday. And then today you're making all kinds of silly problems.
Right.
for us.
Well, that's
You're
just me.
I'm the one that's supposed to screw up, and I'm supposed to be the one that's not paying attention, and you're supposed to be the one that's focused. So
First of all,
when you're not focused, not that you're not focused, but like I then have to be focused.
I don't
and
think
that's not good for me.
I don't think you appreciate that. I'm looking at all the comments that are
No, I
coming
know, I
in.
know.
I'm figuring out.
Yeah, but you
I'm
usually
figuring
make it
out
look
ways
flawless.
To sabotage Suzanne. It's very difficult.
To be fair, I came in late because I was doing a huge panel. And so he had to pivot and do both jobs. And now I'm here and he forgets how to give up the reins.
That's right.
So it's a combined effort. Bye.
Bye. All right. Bring it on to the show right now. Chris Moulton, GM, AC Hotel, Portsmouth, downtown waterfront. Welcome, man. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So let me start off by saying I roll up to the hotel last night about 10:45 p.m., right? I was driving for 5 hours. I was on a plane and all of that. I was freaking pooped. I show up really late. Boom, I'm met outside within 3 seconds with a valet guy. Made me feel really welcome. I checked into the hotel like that. Went up to my room, had an incredibly beautiful room. And I gotta tell you, I think I'm in love with this hotel. It just feels so right on, man.
you know, I'm fortunate. The team that I have here is just, you know, above everybody else. It's, you know, it's kind of one of those things they take a lot of pride that we have around this area. And, you know, whether it was you or anybody else, they're just going to be able to welcome you and make you feel like you're coming to a second home.
Yeah, sometimes I'm when I'm greeted, I'm not sure if they're doing it because they recognize my face or because they're genuine. But I saw them dealing with other customers before they dealt with me, and I was like, they're just really nice people.
Yeah, and we have a few people that even kind of look like you with a bald head. So it's, you know.
Wow, you have a good-looking staff, huh?
Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm glad. You know, it's they truly do enjoy working here, and I'm fortunate that we're kind of able to play off of that. And you know, when one person's doing such a great job, it's contagious, and it kind of goes through, and you know, it's fun to watch that in action.
So we've talked a lot about operations. We've talked a lot about employees. We talked a lot about that stuff the last couple of months, and I'm getting kind of tired. So what I want to talk about, with my friend's permission, is what was your first job? How did you come up? How did you become a general manager? And tell me, really, is Julie that nice?
She is that nice. Man, the energy that woman has, it's pretty crazy. From day one, from 10 years ago when I started with Colwen, it has not stopped. It's been going the entire time. But I started through the front desk. Back in the day, I was going to school, going for some engineering, and decided couldn't sit at a cubicle. I was just needed to talk to people. So found a job in a newspaper back in the day when we had to, you know, circle and find those jobs. Found one at a Hilton and started my career as a front desk agent, and kind of worked my way through the full service Hilton, and then some select service brands through the Fairfield Inns, Marriott's, and everything, and kind of just, you know, worked my way up through different departments. And you know, next thing I knew, they were offering me a GM job down in Florida. So wow. It was a good ride, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
How old is this hotel here?
So we opened the hotel in December of 2019.
Oh, I thought it was
perfect timing,
because it seems like you opened yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of did.
We had a small little, you know, break of, you know,
point.
lower on the occupancy side, but no, it's the team has done a great job keeping it up, and that's our goal, is just always make it look like it's that brand new hotel.
But you know, there's nothing more interesting than planning a hotel, getting the financing for a hotel, getting the general manager, getting everyone, and say, okay, we're open. Oh, COVID?
Yeah.
Like think about that. It's like, it's so insane that the plans that you had and the P&Ls, and then it's like, no, shut the doors. It's over for now.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
We opened our rooftop restaurant 3 weeks before we had to shut it back down.
Oh my gosh.
So that was, there's so much excitement to have that rooftop open. The town was excited. You know, the team was excited. You know, the first couple of weeks, the demand was, you know, really strong up there. And then we had to shut it down. So it was a little heartbreaking. You know, the team had done so much work for it. But through 2020, it was almost like we opened that rooftop 3 different times, doing the different phases that we had to do for mandates. So we got very good at opening a restaurant that year.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. So we've been talking about acceleration of trends. We were talking to the folks that were on just before this. What are some of the things that you're seeing come to the fore now that you're helping to leverage your property here for future success?
You know, I think it kind of goes back. A lot of people that were just kind of stuck in their houses, and they're still working from their homes. A lot of those trends are just the simplicity of it. They do want just those things that they've been so used to at home. They just want that easy, right? You know, that easy meal that, you know, Anthony was talking about, that just something that is just going to make them feel like they did not have to, you know, push a little bit more or ask a little bit more, that it's just going to be given to them. But, you know, from a food and beverage standpoint, people are just looking for the option to be available, and that it is going to be ready for them, you know, and looking good and tasting good. The front desk, you know, I think we are seeing, you know, this transition to where are having that less contact through that front desk, because they are doing the mobile check-ins, and they want to go straight up to that room. So I think that trend is, you know, okay, they didn't get that information through that front desk agent. Where are they going to get that information from? And I think that's that key thing, is we got to make sure that they are getting it through, whether it is through their mobile phone or through their TV, or just, you know, making sure that bartender we've been talking about, that bartender has that information, that not necessarily all the drinks, but, you know, what is the housekeeping, you know, policies? What is the, you know, what is going on around town? What's going on in the hotel? I think that person needs to know those things, where a front desk agent should have been knowing that, to begin with.
I think that's a failure in most hotels, that each department's on its own little island. But talking about comfortable and guests checking in and being comfortable, you notice that a lot of people are checking in with their jackets, their suit jackets, and pajama bottoms, just like they were for 2 years. So I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I have pajama
Why are you
bottoms
calling
on
me
right
out on
now.
how I'm dressed right now? Yeah, come on, dude.
It's making it a little awkward on our side. But
No,
we're
that
happy
would be a
with it.
funny TV commercial, right? It's like, hey, man, we want to make you comfortable. And you see people checking in with pajama bottoms and jackets.
Yeah, that's really funny, dude. I almost did when I went to the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference in May. I hosted a panel. I was going to totally just wear my, my sweatpants and Crocs and stuff like that.
That would have been funny.
It would have been funny for 10 seconds. Then I would have been stuck wearing that for the entire session. It would have been weird and distracting. So I decided.
Yeah, but
against
you're
it.
kind of weird and distracting, so it makes sense.
Good point. Very good point. So, Chris, when you're thinking about those changing touch points, then, and you have to be in these particular places, I mean, reading something off a computer screen does not necessarily have the same impact as people. So how are you going to make sure that people continually connect with guests so you could really win them over with that service element as opposed to having to rely on just the building itself?
I think a lot of it just with the training of the associates,
Right.
getting them to learn how to read people. I think nowadays we have lots of different types of people. You're going to have the people that really don't want to have interaction. And then you're gonna have the people that are expecting that interaction, but it's what used to have at the front desk. Now they have to find it somewhere else. So I think we got to train the team members to really recognize what that type of guest is, and then be able to offer what that type of service that they're looking for. It's we're asking a lot out of the associates now because they're doing a lot of different roles and responsibilities and doing them all at the same time. So I think it's crucial to find the people that have been doing this for quite some time. And mentor them and really have them understand, what that guest is looking for. Because, like you said, the computer's not going to tell you those things.
Yeah, and also I think it's really important for employees to understand you can see it as a burden or you can see it as your next step to your growth and promotion. Because right now we're going to remember the people that can do 27 things at once. But what is the one thing, Chris, that you have found out about yourself that you didn't know 2 years ago? Is there one thing that you were like, wow, I didn't realize I was that guy. I was that good. And I think we all found something, that one thing in the last 2 years, and then we were like, whether it be good or bad. What's the one thing that you found about yourself that you didn't know 2 years ago?
I knew it was crazy, but now I found out I'm a little more crazier. Just doing that. But I think I found that I'm able to listen more than I thought for the associates. The team members I've always thought I could, understand what they were going from a work standpoint, but I think I have a deeper knowledge of, their everyday surroundings, whether it's not just the hotels, but at home. I think there's a lot of people went through a lot of things over this past, 18, 21 months. And, up to that point, I felt like I knew what the associates, lives were about and what they were going through. But I think now, knowing that everyone went through a lot of deep stuff, I feel like I've got a little bit more of a better connection with them, and I listen in a different way because people are going through a little bit unique situations now.
Yeah, and I think that probably says a lot about you and probably why this hotel runs so well, because you have a little bit more listening. It took me a long time to listen. I'm finally starting to listen at 56 years old, so
Except
I
to me.
understand.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Except to me.
I know.
I know, that
I
was
wasn't
funny,
listening.
yeah.
All right.
So,
So
well, I've got to bring up something right here.
No.
Okay.
All right.
So I really like this hotel. Like I said, it really connected with me. And Ken Hayworth says that the AC Portsmouth was one of the early adopters of the Aqua Amenities Pensar system. I happen to have seen that. And it's great because you're not hiding like something behind a big dark door that you have to.
but explain to them, because nobody knows what you're talking about right now.
I'm getting.
I know.
Okay, so instead of just having something behind a dark door, you got beautiful glass doors that make it look inviting. Behind the glass doors, it feels like you're walking into the Delta Sky Lounge because you've got the Aqua Amenities water system with real glasses and stuff like that, and it feels just very, very upscale and different than anything that I've seen at other hotels before. So that's a pretty cool thing. And I noticed That's an attention to detail and lots of attention to detail throughout the entire property. The reason why I bring this up is because everyone is so good at the hospitality industry right now. It's that last 2 or 3%, I think, that really helps you make a connection. How do you make sure that you're following all of these details and helping to create things in the hotel environment that are going to really stick with the guests as opposed to just being something everyone else is already doing?
I think when I started with, managing AC hotels, and it was all about, taking that, looking at those details, I kind of looked at it and I said, we're looking too much into it. We got to simplify it. And I think once you look at the picture and say those touch points, they may seem daunting that you got to make sure everything is meticulously done at all times. But when you really break it down and you simplify what it really is, there aren't too many, segments into it. And you just take the time and you focus on this segment for a certain amount of time. And then once that becomes a habit, then you move on to that next segment. I think we took a lot, when we opened these hotels, we were stressing a lot, saying, oh my God, there's just so much to clean, so many corners, so many edges. And we had to take a step back and say, it's just a hotel. Let's simplify it. Let's make sure it's people understand, what these touch points are. And then once they learn those, then we just keep on moving on. There's a lot of detail in these hotels. But the nice thing about these hotels is we've removed a lot of the unnecessary clutter. We've removed a lot of those unnecessary items that the guests didn't really care about. And so now we don't have to worry about that. Now we can worry about those things that
It's
are
interesting.
truly in front of them.
I personally miss the 45,010 cards I used to see in every single.
It's interesting because I didn't notice that, but now that you're saying it, I felt it. Like
Yeah,
I
dude.
felt that there's an openness and there's not a lot of clutter, and I'm not a clutter person, so I appreciate it.
It's all very minimalistic in a sense. You have just what you need in the room. So it's got a lot of clean lines about it. And everything just feels really good about it. And it goes to that clutter thing. I'm
Don't
sure
ever touch me again.
I'm sure there's a like a feng shui element too that we don't even understand that plays into it. But it just
above my pay grade on
right,
that one.
but right, it just everything just feels oriented in the right sort of way over here. This hotel really connected with me.
Good.
So,
I'm glad. And that's the thing. We want people to just walk in and just feel that comfort,
Yeah.
and not have to go in and move things around. Just make it a simple stay, and everything is going to be.
You know what? And
elevated
I've
for it.
never, all the hours we spent together, I've never heard him really connect to a hotel. I've heard him say that's a nice hotel, but I've never really heard you say that. Like you don't use because you usually kind of like you just use it for it's a function and you move on. I get emotional about hotels. You don't usually do. It's the most emotional I've seen you about a hotel.
yeah. Well, we're gonna hug it out after this.
All right,
anyway,
you're cute
so
when you're
that'll be-
emotional.
This is excellent. I love that he's able to knock me down with his insults earlier about my show performance, and then bring me back up towards the end of the show. So I appreciate that, Anthony. Oh, that's great. Isn't it nice when someone has hair? All right. So, but before we wrap up here, Chris, tell us a little bit what it's like running a lifestyle type of hotel compared to a non-lifestyle hotel that we all grew up with.
I think it's, with my years of just trying different brands, I think that it's a piece of a lot of those brands that made them successful. And it's now in this type of lifestyle hotel. Our culture, you can be seen in certain types of brands that are really strong in culture. I think we took that part, and now that's part of the AC hotels. That attention to detail, like I just mentioned, that is a big component. And I think, you're going to see things that we knew that the guest was going to want to experience. We've taken that aside and kind of elevated it and made sure that was better than, any other hotel. And it's just these bits and pieces that, we've taken to really make sure that we knew that someone liked it at this brand. We knew that they liked it at this brand. And now it's what people are used to, and they experience on a day-to-day basis. And now we've set it to, it's a place for them to stay when they're not at home.
Yeah. Awesome. Anthony, any final thoughts?
No, it was a pleasure, and I love your hotel.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah,
I had fun. You guys, I appreciate you come back anytime.
I'd really like to. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but the taco place next door, really good.
Amazing.
I was there a few months ago.
Amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
we may try it almost daily.
Makes a whole lot of sense. That being said, I hear the food here is great too. The breakfast
Yes.
was, at least that I had.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great team here.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anthony, this was so much fun being with Colwen Hotels up here.
It's great having live people in a live venue, and
We actually have a whole audience here, but Anthony forbid them from making any noise, and I was really in the
no, not
pro-
noise, but like I don't want to see people in the background when we were talking to our guests and people at home looking at other people, and then the people that are sitting there have to worry about they can see me picking my nose. So
that sounds very complicated.
yeah,
All right.
it's very complicated.
All right, so tomorrow, not to get too cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with Marriott this week, but we've got on Dan Flannery, who's the brand lead with Edition Hotels, joining us on the show tomorrow. And another show note, we're going to probably start 10 minutes or so late. I'm going to be speaking at a conference tomorrow, and the panel ends at 12, and then I'll run to my gear and we'll get it set up. I think Anthony's going to be with me in person as well, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. We got a whole lot of great shows next week as well. Ooh, lots of good stuff, but I'm not going to share what that is. We'll make you wait till tomorrow for that. Anthony, any final thoughts before we wrap up this bad boy?
Good to see you, my friend.
It was good to see you too. All right, everybody, remember, you've got to go get our audio feed. That's right. Get our audio feed on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you get your audio shows. Well, our podcast is there. That's why we're in the top 0.5% of all audio podcasts in the entire planet Earth. Now we're going to be shooting for Mars next time. He's Anthony Hotels. I'm Matt Traveling Glenn. Thanks for being here. Remember, guys, you got one life, so blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.
see y'all tomorrow.